US has given Pat Utomi the right to compile the names of all those politicians that took part in the 2023 elections. Please guys, watch this video and hear how Pat Utomi addressed the press on the list compiling. Do not forget to like, share and leave your comments. Thanks for watching.
What's the big deal about PVC? That you cannot walk into the next corner and they print it and give you that. It's just a biometric measure, like your BVN card or whatever it is that we use these days, ID card, anything. But it became a huge operation, creating his emotions, his tensions, and all of that. Okay, now that you have a biometric measure, so how do you vote? You have to go through with a biometric measure. Any American who wants to vote doesn't have just any indication of who you are to get to the polling station and you vote. But no. Polling station, that made a big song and dance. At a point in time, the Big Tent had to intervene, just to draw attention of the world to the fact that this is a simple thing we're making complicated. That if INEC was short-staffed, if they had challenges, they could ask private sector as part of their civic duty. Okay, organize private sector in Lagos. Can you deploy logistics people? We're going to be on street Igodalo at 2 p.m. tomorrow for the next 3 hours. Everybody who lives on street Igodalo, please come to number 10 and collect your card. I don't understand what's complicated about collecting an ordinary card. But we made it a complex, problematic, political problem. So we said, okay, let's go to visit one place where people had gathered. There are hundreds, if not thousands, trying to collect their cards all day, not getting anything. Let's go and point to the fact that this is a very simple process. Even that visit became a story. The INEC declared that we invaded them by just coming to a place to say, what's going on here? It just shows that the institution is not geared to the objective for which it was set up. All kinds of things were being, goals were being displaced. Anybody who did not expect that we would be in crisis could surely not have prepared themselves for what we came through. But well endured, waiting for 25th of February. And INEC failed to deliver on its promise, and shortly after, created a new precedent in Nigerian politics by declaring a president at 4 a.m. You know, this is something you do with fanfare at a particular time, whether you're going to argue with Rubebe or not. You don't do it at 4 a.m. Giving the impression that something is untoward. Perhaps there's nothing wrong, but that itself sends a signal. There's something not right about how this thing is being proceeded. I know what's problematic about it for me personally is that elections, the process is more important than the outcome. It is the process that confers legitimacy on a government. If you bring us to an outcome that people are somehow leery about the process, you do a grave damage to the new government. You deny them legitimacy. And when your legitimacy is low, you can bring the finest economists in the world, you can bring the greatest planners on earth. There will be an enthusiastic reception of your policy, the country will keep sliding back. Nigerians have suffered far too much for far too long to continue to be a country that people look at and say, with all the options before me, why there? Why should I go there? So poverty persists in the world's biggest concentration of black people. I sometimes ask myself, do people in public life in Nigeria actually pause and reflect on the consequences of these things for the world they try to create, for their children, for all our children? I'm not so sure what is done here. Well, the Big Tent entered this fray to ensure that project a new order, project a new way of doing things, or bring together people who are of like minds in more than one political party, in civil society organizations, in social movements, beginning this effort with the labor unions to create what people like to call, I'm not very enthusiastic about that usage, a third force. Peter Obi did not find the youth of this country. The youth of the country heard the things he was saying, decided to use him for a vehicle. He came into this movement that was being built, and momentum went through the skies, and we began this process of literally taking our country back. Now, when the moment came, whether the momentum was enough to have won the elections or not, let's leave those as matters of speculation. But the agencies that were supposed to make things transparent and make people comfortable that they gave their best and it came to something. Security agencies, a huge disappointment. All the videos are flying around, everybody knows what are security agencies. Individual leaders, many proved to be a disappointment. Governors invaded polling booths. Part of the problem is that there's no consequence management in Nigeria. If there was consequence management, 3-4 governors in jail would prevent the next set of governors from doing what these ones did. But if we don't insist now, the next elections will be worse than this one. This is why we will take the names of these public officials, and not just governors alone, there are many. Thank God the Americans are asking us to bring their names. Thank God the British are saying they want those names to go out. Femi Fala and I had an extensive discussion of this even before the Americans and British began to make small noises. And Femi said, look, we have enough laws in our country to prosecute this thing. We want lawyers to volunteer to come forward to prosecute. We'll prosecute them here, we'll take their names to international criminal court. But unless we jail many of them, elections will always be bad dream in Nigeria. People don't come out to vote at election time because they wonder why they should risk all of this and the results will be manipulated anyway. And so our democracy is dying. If we're going to save this democracy, some dramatic things need to happen. And one of them will be getting in jail public office holders who have interfered with the elections process. I wanted to speak to the things that we have been doing in the Big Tent to advance a new order. Because we do not want to stop because an election has taken place want to start now to say to a new generation of Nigerians that you can trust that there are people who take seriously the business of making democracy work for the people. We already have set up committees to begin to look at what we did not do quite as well. We know that penetration was weak in some far north places, even though that is exaggerated in the narratives that are being thrown out by some people out there. The truth is that I was personally at campaigns in Sokoto and saw the passion of people there. In Borno State, and saw the passion of people there. In Adamawa, in Gombe. So we did a significant job of extending to far corners of Nigeria our vision of a new Nigeria through the Ubidati campaign. But we cannot pretend that it was a perfect reach, and so we have set up a committee already to begin to plan an inclusion, a penetration strategy for those places where we were weaker than we could or should have been. Fortunately for us, amongst our ranks, the Director General of the Big Tent Independent Campaign Council, or BIDATI, the person of the Northwest, our Director of Mobilization, Ahmed Khalil, also from the Northwest. And so we have created a committee with both of them to begin from this week to design and execute a Northwest penetration strategy. So that the next time that we talk, the cross of the support for this movement will be spread and significantly include the Northwest of our country. We want, frankly, to begin by expressing our appreciation to many of those who have facilitated the work that we have tried to do through this campaign season. I think that we will not travel very far if we do not acknowledge with much gratitude the work of statesmen like President Olusegun Obasanjo, statesmen like Chief Ayo Devanjo, statesmen like Chief E.K. Clark, Barrister Boku, of the obedient movements across the board, of the many pastors and sheikhs who saw in our message a renewal of the spirit of the land. They were extraordinary and brought this country to the verge of somewhere it had never been. So we thank them, we appreciate them. We thank particularly our young people who realized that their future was being wasted by an elite so focused on transactions for self in a certain narcissism that boggles the mind. And even though this constitutes the majority in a country where the median age is 18.2, the old order has fought back and used what it knows best to use: ethnicity and bullying to scare decent people. But the gratitude is important. The question is, what next? As St. Augustine says that the unexamined life is not worth living. And so we've been examining our effort. We've been looking at what has challenged us. And we want to announce to Nigeria that even as we await the courts, and there are many courts, the courts of public opinion, the courts of the judiciary, it is one of our institutions that's been enormously challenged by what is going on. The expression "go to court," I hope judges realize it is a mockery of the institution, because people say it as a statement that you cannot take the judgment of the courts seriously, but that would be a terrible thing for any society to get to, because it is said that it is the last hope of the common man. And so judicial reform, the raising of new people of honor and integrity and decency in those institutions is a critical part of the work we have to do going forward. We have to continue the work of reforming political parties and building ours into one of example. There are several gubernatorial elections coming forth. We have just set up a committee from Labour, the Big Tent, and others to draw criteria for consideration of people who can seek public office. It should not be enough that you can find some money and spread this money around. It is more important that we look at your antecedents, how they relate to service to people. It is much, much more important that we look at your typical disposition to sacrificially give of yourself in advance of the common good. It is more important that even as we look at models and look at what the Chinese have accomplished in leadership selection, that we make merit so evident that people who begin their careers in roles that are smaller and move on to bigger and bigger roles, and are therefore tested at many levels, that they be the prime choices. But very, very importantly, it is not a vote for the oldest man in town who has spent all his life, quote unquote, acquiring experience. One of the biggest problems in our political life is that many who come to public office do not have the energy, the mental, or physical strength to do the work. They then become a burden and a liability on the people rather than a sign and a side to change the lives of the people for good. And so in many places we're going to be pushing literally for age limits. Committee is going to go to work. So what I said is not what happens. But personally, if I have my way, nobody over the age of 59 should try to run for governor. If I have my way. We should have them with the range of 35 and 59. And people, when we follow a true merit-based system, who are really capable, will by 45 have worked with something years in some very important positions where they are tried and tested. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, legitimacy matters. The courts are looking at what's before them. But Kenya has taught us a great lesson, that the courts cancelled the elections and called for a rerun in Kenya is the reason Kenya has life today. our cause. We should not wait for anyone to be teaching them lessons. There is a lot on the plate of those who have been called on to save Nigeria. We think we have done our bit. We're still ready to do more. But we think that there are many who could do some more. So that this country will be doing its part. Thank you for listening to